Nobody wanted LeBron James. And now it's confirmed, and LeBron James and Rich Paul has been exposed. The only people that were reporting that teams were interested in him and GMs were asking for him and there was discussions going on and all that other stuff was Shams and Rich Paul. Nobody else.
A multi-million-dollar illusion just completely shattered right before our eyes. LeBron James has officially taken his talents to the Philadelphia 76ers on a veteran minimum contract, but the media's fairy tale surrounding his free agency is an absolute lie. Behind the spin lies the truth about a cratered market and another desperate move to stack a championship contender. Do you believe LeBron James took a 90% pay cut out of pure generosity? Or was Philadelphia literally the only front office in the entire league willing to offer him a roster spot? Share your thoughts in the comments down below.
So LeBron James has made his decision. LeBron James made his decision and he decided to go to the 76ers, the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I said in the intro that I can prove to you that nobody else really wanted him to play for his team. You had Steph Curry making comments. You had Giannis Antetokounmpo making comments, everybody. But take a clear look at this whole situation. The only people that were reporting that teams were interested in him and GMs were asking for him and there was discussions going on and all that other stuff was Shams and Rich Paul. Nobody else.
The entire sports media machine spent weeks attempting to convince everyday basketball fans that 27 individual franchises were aggressively bidding for 41-year-old LeBron James. Insiders flooded social media feeds with wild speculation regarding potential landing spots across the league. Sports radio hosts forced listeners to digest constant chatter about possible moves to Golden State, Miami, Cleveland, or even Minnesota. Yet when you strip away the manufactured noise and examine the cold, hard reality of actual front office movements, the entire illusion crumbles into dust. Not a single general manager, team president, or primary owner from any of those rumored organizations ever stood behind a microphone to express official interest in signing LeBron James.
The only GM that was on record on the Rich Paul podcast was the 76ers GM asking LeBron James to come to the 76ers. There is no other GM or team owner or president that you can show me that there is proof of them wanting LeBron James on their team. The 76ers were the only team that expressed interest in him for the bare minimum, the veteran minimum, and that's what he took. He took the least amount of money. And he also went by his history, basically choosing the team that was the most stacked.
The only individuals dropping hints about wanting to play alongside him were actual player friends like Steph Curry or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Player endorsements carry zero weight when it comes to actual cap management, contract drafting, and front office roster construction. Former players turned media analysts like Rick Bucher and Stephen A. Smith eventually echoed what observant fans already understood. Nobody else was actually lining up with official contract paperwork. The Philadelphia 76ers were the solitary franchise willing to extend an actual veteran minimum slot on their active roster. Instead of acknowledging market reality, the sports media machine recycled narratives sourced directly from Rich Paul and the internal public relations team at Clutch Sports. Prominent reporters like Shams Charania, Brian Windhorst, Kendrick Perkins, and Max Kellerman repeatedly broadcasted identical talking points across daily network programming. The official story asserted that LeBron was prioritizing personal happiness, family alignment, and taking a massive financial hit out of pure competitive generosity. In reality, his overall market value suffered a massive correction. He agreed to $4 million annually because $4 million was the exact cap ceiling Philadelphia had remaining after assembling their primary core.
He made sure that in his comment on Instagram or wherever he posted, he said, yeah, I took the least amount of money I could. He made sure to point that out. But the only reason he took that money was it because the only team that was interested in him was Philly. There's no proof about any other team showing interest from their front office. None.
The actual contract numbers expose the true magnitude of this market drop. During his final campaign with the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron secured $52.6 million on the second year of his maximum extension. Moving to Philadelphia on a 2-year, $8 million deal with a second-year player option represents a staggering salary drop of over $48 million per season. That translates to a 92% pay cut. Athletes in professional sports do not willingly surrender $48 million in annual earnings if rival organizations are actively offering max contracts or mid-level exceptions. The single executive from a prospective landing spot who publicly discussed LeBron's arrival was the Philadelphia 76ers general manager during an appearance on Rich Paul's podcast, where he openly detailed asking LeBron to join their organization, specifically on a veteran minimum agreement. The fake narrative gained further traction when LeBron published a social media statement emphasizing that he accepted the absolute lowest dollar amount possible to assist the team. He framed the decision as a noble act of financial sacrifice. However, taking the minimum was not a generous choice made among dozens of competitive offers. It was the only financial vehicle available to him if he wanted to leave Los Angeles. Front offices across the league recognized the operational risks of committing heavy cap space to an aging superstar who demands high-usage offensive control while pacing himself on the defensive end.
Charles Barkley is literally on the record saying he went to Miami, which is stacked, Cleveland, which is stacked. Then he went to, what did he do? You got Cleveland, Miami. He went to the Lakers with Anthony Davis, which was stacked. And now he's going to the 76ers, which are stacked as well. You got Jaylen Brown, you got Maxey, you got Embiid, now you got LeBron James. It's his whole history, his whole career. He wanted to join every single team that was as stacked as it possibly could have been.
During a featured broadcast alongside Stephen A. Smith, Hall of Famer Charles Barkley offered an extremely candid evaluation regarding the move. Barkley expressed initial shock upon hearing the news, admitting he strongly preferred to see LeBron return to Cleveland or Miami. Barkley pointed out that LeBron possesses zero emotional or historical connection to the city of Philadelphia or the 76ers franchise. When breaking down the decision from a tactical perspective, Barkley credited the offseason addition of Jaylen Brown as the main turning point. He noted that adding LeBron to a Cleveland roster already coming off an Eastern Conference Finals appearance would have made them the undeniable favorite in the East. Joining Philadelphia, however, instantly elevates the 76ers to the top spot on paper, regardless of historical ties. Barkley then articulated the core critique that older generations of basketball icons have maintained throughout LeBron's career: his relentless habit of stacking rosters. Whenever the competitive mountain becomes steep or difficult to climb, he routinely avoids the struggle, boards a helicopter, and flies directly to the top. He stacked the deck in Miami by joining forces with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. He stacked the deck in Cleveland by returning only after the front office stockpiled top draft picks to trade for Kevin Love alongside prime Kyrie Irving. He stacked the deck in Los Angeles by forcing management to trade their entire young core for Anthony Davis. Now he continues that exact blueprint by joining a Philadelphia lineup that already features Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, and rising rookie VJ Edgecombe. This ongoing strategy of seeking immediate super teams has defined his basketball legacy. Back in 2010, after failing to overcome the Boston Celtics, he orchestrated the famous Miami super team that dominated league news for 4 straight years. When that core grew older and exhausted its physical peak, he abandoned Miami to return to Cleveland, where fresh assets were ready to be spent on veteran help. Once the Cleveland engine ran out of steam against Golden State, he packed up for Los Angeles and pushed the front office until they acquired another top 5 talent in Anthony Davis. Following a post-bubble stretch where the Lakers struggled mightily in postseason play, he once again departed for the most stacked roster available in the Eastern Conference. To put his recent operational record into perspective, we must examine the hard statistics following the 2020 bubble championship. Over his final 4 seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron compiled a mediocre 16-26 record in playoff games. During that same stretch, his team missed the postseason entirely twice, suffered 2 first-round sweeps, and experienced 2 gentlemen sweeps. While media outlets continued to praise his age-defying counting stats, his overall postseason winning percentage plummeted significantly. The Lakers front office eventually realized that paying over $50 million annually to a player generating losing playoff records was financially unsustainable, leading directly to their refusal to offer another lucrative extension. Furthermore, his individual shooting metrics tell a very clear story about his changing skill profile. Advanced player tracking data hosted on ESPN NBA Tracking revealed that LeBron converted just 31.7% of his three-point attempts last season. Out of 162 qualified league shooters, that performance ranked him near the very bottom at 159th overall. Despite cutting back slightly on his total perimeter attempts, his long-range efficiency remained a major liability. Complete career database archives on Basketball Reference further show that his primary value at 41 years old resides in elite floor vision and passing rather than efficient individual scoring. The media coverage surrounding this transition generated intense debate across major news platforms. Written analysis published in The Guardian sports coverage detailed how his move to Philadelphia represented a calculated effort to maximize remaining career time rather than an emotional homecoming. Audio commentaries on programs like Game Over with Max Kellerman debated whether taking a minimum deal protects or damages his overall standing among all-time greats. Online fan communities echoed similar sentiments, as seen in discussion threads on Reddit Philadelphia, where supporters debated his fit on the floor. Public commentary spread across social platforms, including posts from observers like @RealSkipBayless on X, who criticized the move as pure ring chasing. Additional video breakdowns covering media reactions can be accessed via Trump's reaction video. The primary obstacle facing this newly assembled Philadelphia team centers on health and floor chemistry. Joel Embiid has dealt with chronic knee issues and conditioning struggles throughout his entire professional career. Meanwhile, LeBron is entering an unprecedented 24th season in the league at 41 years old. Combining an aging point forward with a center who frequently misses extended time creates massive structural vulnerability. If either player suffers a significant physical setback during the grueling 82-game calendar, the entire championship window closes immediately. Additionally, the tactical adjustment required from Philadelphia's existing young talent presents a fascinating challenge. Tyrese Maxey and Jaylen Brown are dynamic, high-usage scorers accustomed to creating offense with speed and aggression. Adding LeBron means every offensive possession will likely flow through his hands as the primary orchestrator. Throughout his career, young stars joining LeBron have been forced to alter their natural playing styles to fit his system. On the defensive end, LeBron routinely conserves energy by avoiding hard perimeter closes, forcing younger teammates to cover extra ground to mask his defensive pacing. From a legacy perspective, joining a fourth franchise to chase a fifth championship ring creates an interesting comparison with historical icons. Michael Jordan spent his prime years building a single franchise into a dominant six-time champion without ever switching teams during his title runs. Kobe Bryant remained with the Los Angeles Lakers for his entire 20-year career, winning 5 rings across 2 distinct eras. Tim Duncan anchored 5 championship teams over 2 decades in San Antonio, without ever searching for external super teams. In contrast, LeBron has consistently abandoned situations the moment adversity appears, opting instead to assemble fresh star lineups across Miami, Cleveland, Los Angeles, and now Philadelphia. The narrative that LeBron chose Philadelphia out of pure generosity or desire for basketball happiness completely crumbles under factual examination. The market spoke clearly when 0 rival front offices offered lucrative long-term deals. Facing a limited free agent landscape, he accepted the minimum available salary to join the most stacked roster in the Eastern Conference. Taking shortcuts to the top of the mountain has become the defining characteristic of his career journey, making this latest chapter in Philadelphia a predictable continuation of his established historical pattern. LeBron's latest move proves that the shortcut era of basketball is alive and well. Will joining a 4th super team finally secure his 5th ring, or will Father Time crash the party in Philadelphia? Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for future breakdowns. Thanks for watching.